Alright, welcome back. Here is episode 7 of the Making of the Adventures of a Toy 3. Towards the end of this video, for the first time, I've included a Q&A section, hopefully answering the questions that keep coming up in the comments, so stick around for that. For now, let's start with the Thermo update. So sculpts and dreams are made up of individual flecks that leave sculpts looking a bit rough when lowering the graphics thermo. Recently I learned something new, something called Luma noise. So Luma noise is a grainy effect that adds random brightness variations, kind of like film grain, to make scenes look more natural or cinematic, and I realised if I turn that off, my white coloured sculpts get a natural smooth look. On top of that, Dreams naturally adds a secondary fleck colour for variation, the default being 30% black. So thanks to my preference towards a clean coloured look instead of fleck detail, almost everything I apply this to improves without adding anything to the thermo limits. The before and after difference seen here is quite drastic, and I kinda wish I could apply this to my older games. You can imagine I've spent quite a bit of time going through my stages and my characters, making these adjustments with varying degrees of improvement on almost everything. The last video I updated Buzz's run, so I thought I might make some adjustments to Buzz's old head sculpt seen here. And without obsessing over it using many images, I changed the shape of his face a bit, I adjusted the purple colour, and I made his eyes seem more natural. So it's not perfect, but I think it's better. Let me know in the comments if you agree. After Woody and Buzz both had a custom run animation update, I had to help Jessie out. Her old run was quite stiff and boring, so I set to work on giving her a new, more individual run that fits her personality a bit better. I ended up using this picture from the internet as a start point for one of her keyframes, and I just tried to refine it from there. The end result is quite bouncy with big arm swings and big leg swings, but it's leagues better than the previous run cycle. Add it to her role in Andy's room and it's a huge improvement. I sped up her double jump a bit also. Now we have Andy's infamous toy box. This was one of the first sculpts I made when starting Dreams, as you can tell by the paint job. I used paint flecks on top of the sculpt instead of painting the sculpt itself, and it's time for an update. Bam! This is the final product with high thermo. Let's put it in Andy's room. And I loved how it turned out, just keeps getting better and better. And here I've even lowered the thermo for the stage and it still looks great. So one of the playable characters will be Mrs. Potato Head, and she's been given an action now. I'm looking forward to having a voice actor make a yell for this animation, so we're going to have one angry handbag swinging potato running around smashing things. Now a bit of an update on the playground. My goal here was to have 5 security trucks circling the main play area, and to do so I've set up a sculpted ball with a tag on it. Then on the truck I have a follower gadget that will make the truck follow the tag as it's moving, and also a look at gadget that will make sure the truck always faces the tag as it moves. I then keyframe the ball to move certain distances around the playground. Click play, and voila, the truck is off. Clone it 4 more times, individualize the keyframes, and I have success. The other part I wanted to include was getting caught by the trucks. So I set up a camera inside each truck and one on security twitch on the playground, as well as a trigger zone in front and around the truck set to detect the player. Once the player has triggered the zone, it sends a signal that the player has been caught or died, and that will cause the player to respawn at the most recent checkpoint. And the outcome looks like this. So there's no sound effects and no twitch light animations, and it's not dramatic, but it will be soon enough. Time for some butterfly room updates. And firstly, Stretch needed sparkly skin just like in the movie. This is as easy as adding a fleck and making it brighter, then tediously repeating this over his entire body. So it did take a while, but the effect is worth it. So also, shifting the purple and turning off Luma noise made his previous version look horrible in comparison, so I'm glad I went through the effort. So for the room, I wanted an individual task for each character, and to do so I decided I would paint each of their heads and add it to a spinning token to indicate who you need to use for each task. I also used these images to create the player select in the HUD in the bottom of the screen. My next job was making Sparks a playable character. This isn't too difficult because he doesn't need a run animation as he rolls instead of runs, he just needs sound effects. And I wanted to make his sparks work when he moved, just like the real toy does. And he also needed a jump animation. And then all of a sudden we have our fourth and final playable character in the room. Another small improvement, although the idle characters don't have idle animations yet, they do at least look at you as you run around. So this is done by a trigger zone connected to a look at rotator, which is connected to the idle puppet's head. And the look at rotator is set to look at a tag that I've placed inside the player's face. And the effect brings a wee bit of life to the room now as you run around. Now I'd like to share with you some of my plans in progress with the mini-games. In this stage you'll approach Slinky, who will communicate with you how to unlock your butterflies and progress through the stage with each character. You can navigate around the board with the controller for clues to see what you have left to do. And once you complete this board, you've completed the stage. Lotso's mini-game is a timed race where you collect butterflies and you hit checkpoints on the way. I've included animations when he turns left, when he turns right, and also when you hit an object or reverse. Twitch's mini-game involves Stretch throwing crayons in the air for you, and you'll have to jump and punch to collect points and unlock butterflies. I'll leave you a hint that Chunks' minigame involves talking to the alien and a bunch of paint cans. And Sparks' minigame will involve visiting Buzz and possibly lead to a dance-off. After that, each character will have a unique ability they will use to collect 3 secret butterfly tokens each. Now some long-awaited Q&A for you guys.
When will the game be finished?
So I get asked this pretty frequently, and if it helps put it in context, my first game took me 9 months to make. Some days I was able to put in up to 5 hours a day, whereas my second game took me 1.5 years. But I wasn't able to give it as much time per day as the first game. So just remember, besides getting voice actors and my wife and friends giving me feedback, I'm doing this by myself. So that does include sculpting characters, animating characters, gameplay logic, sculpting stages, lighting, music, sound effects, animating cutscenes, creating menus, and on top of that I'm trying to keep up with these videos, and that requires recording everything, editing it all together with a voiceover which can take up to a week. So with all that information, my answer to when will the game be finished? So I'm aiming for a completion date of the same month that Toy Story 5 is released next year, which is June 2026.
Will Lotso be a final boss?
So I had some comments that Stinky Pete didn't get what he deserved the last game, so yes, I'm making sure you get the opportunity to face off against Lotso in Adventures of a Toy 3.
Are you sticking to the movie storyline?
So I'm taking a few creative liberties to have a bit of fun, but I never steer too far from the source material.
Why haven't you shown more stage reveals?
Okay, so I have shown you 5 out of 9 stages, and there's been some guesses as to the other locations, but I've decided I won't reveal them until the game is finished and the full game video has been uploaded. I have to keep some secrets for the long run.
Are you going to sculpt more characters?
So I do still plan on sculpting Bonnie, Ken and Barbie, which hopefully I'll get into the next video.
Will the game be playable when it's finished?
So the plan is to make it playable on Dreams, same as the other two, so you will need a PlayStation and access to Dreams, but anything can happen between now and then. Hopefully the Dreams servers stay open long enough, and hopefully Disney continues to leave me alone.
Will all the characters have voice actors?
I am planning on having way more lines in this game than number 2, and yes, everyone will get a voice, including Slinky this time.
Are you doing other animations?
So you may have noticed I've put out a few Toy Story Multiverse shorts recently. I've got the Toy Story vs Avengers, and I have Darth Vader vs Buzz Lightyear. So these are little side passion projects that I wanted to make. Now hopefully I wanted them to help grow the channel and also just let my love for Toy Story and other fandoms come out in different ways other than creating the game. And yes, I do plan on making more. In fact, if you have any awesome crossover ideas, I would love for you to let me know in the comments. So that's it for this update. I'm hoping to have at least one more episode in the future, and after that we'll just have to see how it progresses. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll catch you next time.